Yeah, good morning, everybody, and welcome to my session on Metaverse, the complete stream. And this is an important technology for all of us because, as an engineer, this can create a career path for you, and as an institution, this can create another channel for reaching out to your stakeholders. And I have titled my presentation like Gateway to Your Future for a simple reason that anybody who is in the engineering field now or a technological field, Metaverse is going to be part and parcel of your career forever, either as a developer or as a participant or as a recipient or actually a customer or a consumer. Okay. And for today's agenda, actually for the VIT session, I have this very simple agenda. So I will be talking about vision of metaverse. That means why are you creating this metaverse and what's its purpose and what is intention. Then you know that metaverse is actually a combination of many technologies. So I will be covering each technology and what the technology is contributing to each one of us in the making of the metaverse. And then I will be talking about use cases. That means what are the cases, what are the situations in actually you can use metaverse as a means or as a end. And finally, since the audience is engineering students, I'll also be talking about metaverse career avenues. That means if you start liking metaverse, what are the career paths that will be open for you? And finally, like any other technology, metaverse will also have certain challenges, both technological, social, and technical and all. So that also I'll be covering. And finally, at the end of the session, I will give you some time so that if you have any specific question that you can certainly raise and you can answer. I will try to answer them. The objective of this presentation is very important. See, I want to create in the audience mind that I have to create an awareness about metaverse phenomena and its implication. See, metaverse is not like any ordinary technology. Awareness of it is very essential. So when I say it is a phenomenon, you should remember that phenomenon are certain things which happen whether you know it or not. Okay. And it will also benefit or affect you without you knowing that. Okay. For example, you need to develop an appreciation for this game-changing potential. See, there are many technologies which I can list later, but actually when they come into place, actually people will not understand its potential initially. But when they start playing a key role, then they will regret that I should have actually checked this technology very early. So the first objective of my presentation is to create awareness among this audience, mostly engineering students and faculty, that metaverse is a very strong and potential technology. Secondly, I want you to appreciate its game-changing potential. See, for example, I told you many technologies like cloud computing, internet, mobile phone, and all. When they came, people did not actually correctly estimate their impact. But today, we cannot live without that. So after that, actually, I will also help you to acquire certain basic and conceptual and practical skills, which will help you in understanding the metaverse. So the first intention and purpose of this presentation is to impress upon the audience that metaverse is not something which is isolated. It is not an isolated technology like nuclear technology or space technology, which only a few people will use. See, one of the wrong impression about metaverse is actually it is about gaming, and only people interested should be gamers. It is not like that. Nothing is further than truth. So technology like metaverse is a kind of a very generic technology which will help each one of us in building our careers and participating and improving our life. Second, metaverse is a phenomenon. Phenomenon is something which happens whether you like it or not, and you have to either you are participating in it or not. Actually, it will affect you. For example, inflation. See, for example, if market is inflating, whether you are rich or poor person, whether you are a salaried person or a independent entrepreneur, it will affect you whether you contribute it or not. Similarly, global warming. Whether you are using a car and using petrol for the corrupting the nature, it will actually affect you. And more importantly, for metaverse, it is benefiting each one of us. That's why, for example, if I want to do this presentation 10 years down the line in a metaverse, that will be totally different. So the 3 points are this actually, metaverse is technology for each one of us, and we should be covering it as a serious domain. So let me start with this. I will be talking about meaning of metaverse, definition and characteristics. Okay. So one of the best way to understand metaverse is to
Ravindra
consider.
sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
Sir, actually, you need to increase your volume, sir. They're not able to hear it till the end.
Okay.
We are using the speaker also, but it's not audible.
No, no, am I also using speaker? Okay.
No, sir, it is not audible.
Now? Now is
It's
it
audible.
audible?
Girls, it's audible.
Now?
They are telling that it's not audible till there. Sir, you can start, sir.
No, am I audible now?
Yes, now you are audible.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay,
And I
so one
think
of
you
the best way to
even in
understand metaverse is actually to try to understand in terms of actually as an internet system. Okay, so we should regard metaverse as the next upgrade of the internet. What it actually means is currently we are using internet as a browser and a searching mechanism. That means it is a 2D space where actually you sit in front of a computer and computer will help you to reach out to the internet where it is consist of many files and documents and all. Okay. Now it is essentially a 2D dimension. That means you and the internet are separated. And the basic activity that you do actually is called browsing and searching. What it means is when you go to internet, actually you browse and you finally find out the information that you want and you search for that. But one of the fundamental difference between internet and metaverse is simple. Actually, it is a 3D internet. So that means it will allow you to participate in an activity which happens on the internet. That means we will create virtual spaces and you will get into that one. And instead of browsing and searching, actually you'll be doing walking and discovering. That means you will be physically present in the metaverse. So kindly note that the first difference between the current existing internet and the metaverse is this metaverse is a 3D space where actually you can get into that one. Let me tell you with an example. See, when internet came in the 90s, actually we were actually able to access internet through our desktop. That means internet is always away from you. You have to come to your table, log into your desktop and get connection to internet. But when mobile came into us with us, actually what happened is internet was always with us. That means wherever we move with our mobile, we are carrying the internet with us. But in the 3D metaverse, what actually happens that you are already within the internet. So this is the second fundamental difference. That means first one is metaverse is 3D. Second one, in the metaverse, you are in the internet. You are not away from the internet. And as you can see in this picture, actually, here is a user at the left side. And now there is a couple of technologies which actually will create metaverse. And the resultant is actually metaverse. That means either you are using a virtual reality or augmented reality or legacy systems, and you create that one. And you will be accessing that through your devices like smartphone or your browser and other things. And now that I have defined what is metaverse as a 3D space where actually you can walk into, then I will talk about some of the characteristics of the metaverse. The first one is there is only one metaverse. So many people think, and companies like Facebook and Google, they give an impression they are creating the metaverse. That is wrong actually. So there are no 100 internets. There is only one internet. There is no one Google internet and one Facebook internet and one Instagram internet. The internet is only one. And now there are different companies, internet companies, which are operating on the internet. Similarly, if somebody says that Facebook is creating its own metaverse, Google is creating its own metaverse, it is false. So remember that there is only one internet, the way there is only one internet. And metaverse is for everyone. Like internet, metaverse is for everyone. That it is not an exclusive place or an exclusive club for certain members. It is open for everybody. And nobody controls the internet. I mean, the metaverse, like the internet, nobody is going to control the internet metaverse. That means there is no central agency which will control. Today, internet is also is a free mechanism, but because of the certain big companies, it has become centralized. But then, by very nature, internet is open and available for all. Similarly, metaverse is also an internet which is available for all. And metaverse is open. Open means it is not restricted to a certain operating system or certain kind of a devices like mobiles, desktops, and all. It is open for anything. That means anybody can access from whatever the device they are using, whatever the operating system they are using. And finally, it is also hardware independent. That means it doesn't depend which of the hardware that you are using, whether it's an Apple machine or a desktop computer or a mobile machine and other things. And it is a network. That also you should regard important because it is connected to a network. So that means you can access from irrespective of your location. It could be from your VIT college in Bangalore or like Dharwad college that I am doing it here. And finally, Metaverse is the internet. That means I told you in the earlier slide, Metaverse is nothing but a 3D internet. So now I'll try to describe what is internet. So the metaverse is some total of publicly accessible virtual worlds. Remember here, it is virtual worlds. The current internet, what we actually is a collection of all 2D contents. For example, you can download a PDF, you can download an image, and you can download a video. But in the metaverse, the world is virtual world. That means it's all 3D. That means you are actually you don't actually download, you actually start participating in a meeting which is a 3D space. That means your teacher will be sitting next to you or on the dais, or you may be attending a concert where the performer will be sitting next to you or performing next to you. That means it is a 3D space. And Metaverse is a computer network. That means it will connect every machine. The way internet connects your mobile and your desktop to the internet, the Metaverse will connect everybody to the network. And it is a novel power is the ability to present information in a 3D form. This is the fundamental difference between the current internet and the 3D. I mean, in the Metaverse, it is 3D content. And next is actually functionalities. That is what will happen when you go to the metaverse. The first one thing actually, you will actually start experiencing the content. And this is also a fundamental difference. Today, actually, on the internet, you don't experience anything. Actually, at best, you can view it. For example, you can see a video, or actually, you can listen to a song and all. That means there is a part of the sensory that is activated. But actually, the metaverse, what actually you are there in this space and you start experiencing something like, see, if you are in a garden, actually on the internet today, you can see only the flowers. But in the 3D space of metaverse, if you are in the garden, you actually start smelling the flowers also. And in the metaverse, actually, you are represented by what is called an avatar. Avatar is actually, you do not and you cannot directly go to a metaverse because it's a virtual space. Since we are real people, physical people, we cannot go there. But we can send our proxies. That means we can send our representatives. So those things are called avatars. Avatars are called because according to Hindu mythology, avatar is a reincarnation of a person. For example, we have 10 avatars of Vishnu. What it means is Vishnu is there in the heaven, but when he comes to the earth, he takes one particular form called avatar, and he will actually go according to his plan. Similarly, when you are entering a metaverse, a person will take an avatar. For example, he can take an avatar of a student, or he can take an avatar of a teacher or an employee, and will participate. And what actually happens in the metaverse, actually you can create and publish 3D spaces. Today, actually you upload a PDF document, whereas in metaverse, you will be actually uploading something which is 3D in content. That is either a video, which is an interactivity and one. And finally, it is also a virtual environment. That means it will not be physical. That means you cannot touch and feel, but you can experience through your avatars. Professor, any question at this point of time? Am I still audible or there are still issues with audibility? Professor, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. No, any questions from these?
Any questions at this point of time? So what I have described so far is what is metaverse and how is it different from the internet? And to put it in summary, the internet today is 3D. That means you can only browse and search. Whereas the metaverse internet is 3D. That means actually you can walk and experience and discover. The second point is actually in the internet today, you are downloading the documents which are 2D in the dimension. For example, a file or a video and all. Where when metaverse actually happens, then you are doing everything in 3D content. That means a video with an interactivity ability where actually you can participate. And thirdly, in the metaverse, you start experiencing. For example, in video today, if you see into internet, actually, if you see a rain season, I mean, it's a scene in which it is raining, you don't actually get wet. Okay. But in the 3D metaverse, you actually get wet on it. Okay. So any specific question on this?
No, sir. I think the questions we will keep it at the end, probably.
Oh, no problem, no problem, no, absolutely no problem. So now that I have described the different qualities or the aspects of the internet, I mean the metaverse, I will try to define it in a formal way. The metaverse is a global network. So remember, like internet, it's a global network. So that means it can be accessible from Dharwad or Bangalore or Tokyo or Dehradun or Dubai. That means it has no geographical restrictions. Okay. And it is spatially organized. This is one of the important things. Today in the internet, we are organizing in terms of files and structures and directories. Where actually in the metaverse, we are organizing in terms of spaces. That means we will create a new space called virtual space and we will bring you into that space. So there is a process called teleporting. That means suppose I want to conduct this particular presentation in a 3D world. So instead of connecting my machine to your machine, what I will do is I will create a virtual space called a meeting space. Then I will bring all students who are participating to that space. And that process is called teleporting. So teleporting is the difference. That happens because I am organizing metaverse in terms of the spaces, that is virtual spaces. And the second thing is actually it's a 3D content. It is not a file that I'm sharing on your screen in your auditorium. It would be a screen or a content would be shared in a 3D space. And it will be all without restriction. That means I will not restrict whether a person from a particular place or a particular machine or a particular browser should join. It is open for all, like the internet. And it will actually help in all human endeavors. That I told you, there is a misconception among people that metaverse is for the gamers. Or only you can, what all that you can do on a internet, metaverse is playing games. That is not there. It will support every human endeavor. For example, metaverse can be used for teaching, metaverse can be used for medical surgery if you are a doctor, or it can be used for maintaining a machine or repairing a machine if you are a technical engineer. And it will have many things. For example, it is completely new world. It will also have what is called as the digital economics. Since metaverse is a 3D new world, we have to create everything that we have today in the real world. For example, if I have a road here, I have to create a road in the metaverse. If I have money here, I have to create money. That is taken care by digital economics. So in summary, the vision of the metaverse is to create a new world altogether, where instead of you looking at things, you will be participating and interacting with those things. So instead of looking my presentation on a screen sitting in your auditorium, you will be entering a meeting room or a classroom or a presentation room where actually you start experiencing my presentation if it is to be conducted on a metaverse. And all these qualities are actually listed on this side. Okay, for example, the fundamental thing is about experience. Okay, and then it is a persistence. And this is also an important thing. Today's internet is not persistent. What it means is, now I've started making presentation at level 20 and maybe I will finish it in 1 hour. Once this is over, we are only saving the recording of this event. The event itself is gone. That means nobody can visit it again. But if I want to conduct this event in Metaverse, the session that I have conducted is available for every person forever. That means 10 years down the line, you can come back to this event saying that so and so professor delivered a session on Metaverse. Can I see it? And you can not only see it, actually you can experience it. That is one quality of the 3D space. That means it is persistent. Once an event happens, it is available, accessible forever. It is not true in the current internet. Then the second one is actually economy. That means you also have economic activities. That means when you play a game, you have to pay for that. When you win a game, you are rewarded for that. Similarly, there are many other things like all that creation. For example, you can make an artistic creation and sell it on the metaverse called NFT, non-fungible tokens. Similarly, you can go to internet and buy cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and you can use it for transactions. So economy also we have. And next one is actually it's called interoperability. That means you can move from Apple machine, Mac operating system to say a Windows machine from Windows to Linux and other things. Similarly, you can move from a particular browser to another browser. And one more important thing I have to tell you about the difference between metaverse and internet. Today, much of the internet companies, they are called walled gardens. What it means actually, if you are logged into Facebook and working on that one, you cannot use access. You cannot access Google. You have to log out from that and actually go to Google. And similarly, if you are using Google, then if you want to get into a LinkedIn, then you have to come out of that and start using the LinkedIn. So that means if you want to use LinkedIn, and Facebook and Gmail, then you have to have 3 logins and 3 logouts. So this is called a walled garden. That means there is a compound wall again, across Google, which will not let Facebook users to come in. Okay, something similar to the Facebook. But in the metaverse, this walled garden concept is ruled out. That means it is open. Anybody can start with Facebook, go to Google, Gmail, and from there to LinkedIn and all. So that is what is called interoperability. Okay, and other things like I'll tell you, like identity. Since you need a representation in the virtual world, you have to create an identity. Today in the 2D internet, our identities are like this. See, if I want to participate in this MS Meet, I have to have a Gmail login or some email login, for which actually organizer will send me an email and I am logging in. That is, my email ID is my identity. Similarly, my website is my identity. So in the metaverse, I have to create an identity which is called avatar. Avatar will have different roles and different participation. Okay. So now that I have told you the summary, then I have to explain like why metaverse is very powerful and why you should be taken care, because every day hundreds of new technologies will come, but very few technologies will be like metaverse. Okay, then I will explain you the next slide. See, one of the greatest things about humans is actually we are very ambitious. So whenever you are ambitious, you have to do many things, but there are some natural barriers. For example, I want to teach everybody everything. I have to print books, okay? But no, before 14th century, there was no printing press. So what used to happen is actually, since there is no printing press, there was no mechanism to transfer my knowledge to somebody else. There will be certain people in the society who will be knowledgeable all the time, like pundits or scholars, but rest of the community will not be available. Will not be available, accessible to knowledge because these people may not share it. The reason is actually we have a knowledge gap. That means there is knowledge in people, there is desire in people to know that knowledge, but there is no mechanism to transfer that. So, but when somebody invented a printing press and we started printing books, no, then that gives me a kind of a mechanism so that knowledge of a person, whether it's dead or alive, can be printed on can be printed in a book and given to rest of the population. So that is the benefit of printing press. That means one technology has overcome the barrier of what we call memory barrier, and actually it has created revolution. So that's called knowledge gap. Okay. So now, because books are there, we can build universities. You cannot imagine building a university without a book. And without universities, you cannot educate people. Without educating people, you cannot make them aware of the certain things. So what I want to tell is actually, if there is a natural barrier for a humankind, so that is normally taken, it's solved by a particular technology. So the first such technology which happened in the humankind is actually called printing press. And then the second technology was actually steam engine that came overcome what is called power gap. So what it means is this. See, I want to work 24/7, but I get tired. I want to travel 24/7 the whole world, but my animals, whether it's a bullock cart or it's a kite, whether it's my horse or my elephant, get tired. That means there was a power gap. I want to work, but I used to get tired. So now, when somebody invented a steam engine, so now you don't have to work. You have to tell that engine that will do the work. Since it can do, we can put that steam engine to my railways and I can travel any distance anywhere because I am not traveling. Actually, I am not actually pulling the weight. My train is taking me. So that is also created what is called industrial revolution. Okay. And the most recent revolution that you will all be knowing is actually called internet. See, before internet, there was a distance gap. That means I cannot work for an American company staying in India because there is a time gap. That means they were opening their offices when I was about to sleep and vice versa. But when internet came, companies like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, they can establish what we call global development centers and actually serve a customer in America. That means day and night difference is not there. So that means there is no distance gap. And now we have something called blockchain, which has overcome the trust gap. That means I don't have to depend on a centralized person. For example, I can share a Bitcoin with you without the help of any intermediate bank. Okay. And this is very powerful idea. And that's the reason it's creating a revolution. And in the same way, Metaverse is also a very powerful technology because it is overcoming what we call space gap. The meaning of space gap, I will tell you. Now I'm making this presentation from Dharwad. I'm in a physical space in Dharwad. And you are all attending this session from the auditorium of your college. You are in Bangalore. See, now there is a gap. That means there is a physical time gap between you and me. Okay. And this will put many limitations for us. For example, if I am a doctor, I cannot touch a patient who is there in Bangalore. I have to only listen or talk to him. So Metaverse, by creating virtual spaces using augmented and other technology, has overcome this. So that means if I am using Metaverse as a doctor, I can touch my patient and see his parameters. What is his blood pressure, or what is his temperature and all this. So this is a very strong value proposition. So most of the people will not tell you that why Metaverse is powerful, because the way the earlier technologies have overcome the gaps, this has overcome what we call space gap. So that is the reason it is very important. In 10 years time, it is going to change everything that we are doing now. And another thing that normally happens with people, both engineers and professionals, is that they always try to underlimit or they underestimate the potential of a technology. For example, if you look at here, when internet came in 1990, most people thought that internet will be used for file transfer because you get connected to a server and use an FTP, and that's the only thing. But you know, within 10 years, there was a company called Internet, Amazon, which has started to use this internet for doing business. And within 6 years, we had a company called Google, which was actually creating a business for searching process. So the message what I'm telling is, when a new technology comes, people always underestimate. When internet came, they said that all that internet can do is file transfer, nothing else. But see, when Apple introduced their smartphones in 2007, what people thought that mobile phone can be used only for making calls. Okay, that is telephone calls. And today you know that there are thousands and hundreds of applications, apps today available, which are working on the your mobile phones or smartphones. And the activities, that means the time that you take making phone calls in a day could be 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But rest of the time you are using for using those apps. So this is again a mistake that people did. When 2007 they thought mobile phones can only be used for making calls. And today you know that every organization, whether you are a college or a bank and all, uses the same mobile to deliver services through their apps. So this is second thing. Similarly, when cloud computing came in 2009, what people thought that cloud computing can give only three kind of services: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, or like software as a service. But today, you know, everything is as a service. For example, today storage is a service. Okay, internet is a service. Network is a service. So in 10 years time, there are so many development services I would develop. And you may be surprised to listen actually, there's a company called Metaverse, which actually offers Metaverse as a service. That means if VIT or my college want to use Metaverse as a means of delivering our services, this company will help us to create Metaverse for our institution. So that is the power of internet on the cloud as a service. And finally, why I'm telling all this, now people are starting to use Metaverse and they think that gaming is the only thing that can happen on that. It is saying like phone making call is the only use of mobile phone, or making file transfer is the only application of our internet. Today, it is what thought. But in 10 years time, you would see that Metaverse will be used for everything from business, education, medical, all human endeavors, whether it's a field service or a teaching and all. So one of the things that you should draw from this particular slide is that Metaverse doesn't mean gaming. Also, it starts at gaming, it doesn't end there. The way mobile phone doesn't mean only making calling, there it has many applications. Like similarly, cloud computing is not only for getting those three fundamental services, it means getting everything. So any specific question, because I just covered the concept of metaverse, and this is the right time to stop at this point of time. Hello? Hello?
Yes, Professor.
Sir, now just cover the concept of metaverse, sir. Are there any specific questions before I move on to technologies of cloud
Sir,
computing?
here, that's what I told you. Don't wait for the questions, because the questions we will keep it at the end.
Perfect, sir. Sorry,
You
sir.
can
Okay.
keep going,
Okay, okay.
and after you finish your talk, then we
Yes.
will take up the questions.
Perfect, sir.
So
Perfect.
please,
Perfect. Okay.
please go
Yes,
with
sir. I
your
understand.
talk, and kindly 12:45. I think you should be able to complete, right, sir?
Yes, sir. 12?
12:45.
Yeah, I will be finishing, sir. Actually, now another 20, 30 minutes I need at most. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So now that I have explained you about the concept, and you should remember that actually metaverse is a technological creation. That means there are many technologies which actually built into this metaverse, and they are all being used. So now I will cover those technologies. So metaverse is a combination of technologies. Okay. So I told you metaverse is all about spatial organization. So to create that space, virtual spaces, we are using technologies called extended reality. That means we will create realities in these virtual spaces. The space is virtual, but the experience is always real. So we have an augmented reality, we have a mixed reality, and we have called virtual reality that we will cover in detail. So the first component of metaverse is actually extended reality where we create spaces. It could be a gaming space, or it could be a meeting space, or it could be an activity space. Okay. Then we have what is called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence has nothing to do with metaverse directly, but since metaverse uses many technologies, artificial intelligence is used to monitor it, track it, find insights and all. Okay. And another technology that we use is called cloud computing. Cloud computing is used for storage and all that I will cover. Since the metaverse is a global network, so we need a powerful network. And since the bandwidth requirements are very high, we will not be able to use the current internet, current mobile networks. We will be using what we call 5G or 6G. Okay. And since also it involves lot many devices. For example, I will be using my mobile, somebody will be using a headset, and somebody will be using their desktop. We also need concept and principles of Internet of Things. That means we metaverse will be somewhere will be connected to a headset. So to monitor, to manage that, I need Internet of Things. Finally, I mean, also I told you that we need a financial mechanism to be successful on the metaverse. For that, we are using blockchain because blockchain is peer-to-peer network, which will help me to create immutable transactions, which essentially be used as a currency or a coin. Okay. So now let me take technology one by one and tell you the details. Okay. Metaverse and the extended reality. This we need because we have to create a virtual space. So extended reality has gained as a vehicle for delivering virtual reality gaming. Again, don't be confused by this gaming. Gaming is one experience, but even meeting is an experience. Treating a patient is an experience. Swimming is an experience. All that can be done. So extended reality becomes your vehicle. That means it is through which you will reach the customer. Today, actually, browsing is your means. There is no way you can touch internet without a browser. Similarly, without an extended reality, you cannot touch the metaverse. And these are used to create spaces. I told you virtual spaces and all. And one of the very famous example is Microsoft HoloLens, which will help you to participate in their meetings and others. The second technology that we are using in the metaverse is actually is artificial intelligence. And you know, artificial intelligence has three capacities. It can recognize, okay, the patterns. It can create patterns, and actually it can find insights. Since the metaverse is a data intensive application because every activity that you do has a meaning, as a conversation, and as a content, the artificial intelligence is used extensively to capture the data and try to find out the meanings and patterns within that. Okay, here are the different ways in which artificial intelligence can be used, starting from experience to infrastructure to decentralization and other things. Excuse me. Okay. The one more technology which is used in the metaverse is actually called IoT. IoT is the Internet of 3D physical things. You know, actually, the Internet, IoT is actually Internet of Things. The current Internet is actually Internet of people. That means I and you are connected using this Internet. In IoT, a device is connected to another device, and it is called 3D physical space. Okay, and for that reason, you need you need a 3D user interface. Today it's a 2D interface that I'm connected to my desktop here and you are connected to your project over there. Okay, that is going to change. And now we have to upgrade our internet to 3D IoT, and that was the third technology we need. And IoT is all about physical world connected to a digital world. That is also being taken care here. And there's another technology that we use cloud computing that is needed because like any network activity, we have a lot of data to be processed, data to be collected, data to be stored. And most of the applications and most of the resources actually managed through what is called remote cloud-based computers. This is very important because since the network bandwidth is very high, the current 3G and 4G networks cannot support it. For that reason, actually, we are going to 5G internet. And depending on the, for example, we need ubiquitous access. That means metaverse should be accessible from your home, from your field, from your hill mountain, from your rural villages. That kind of ubiquitous access can only be given by 5G, and hence we are using 5G networks. And it should be also available for XR devices. For example, if you are playing a game from a remote area, then you need a lot of bandwidth and the speed which is given by your 5G metaverse, 5G networks. And probably you already know that cloud computing uses centralized data storage. That means there will be a lot of data centers which are available. But many a times actually you don't need to upload your data every time to cloud. For example, if you are using a security cameras in your college building and all, every screen, every frame need not to be uploaded to the internet and it will be accessed. For that reason, they are using what is known as the edge-based computing. Okay, it means all the data processed at the edge of the particular device, like camera in your college, okay, or IoT device in a traffic area, then it is uploaded occasionally to the cloud. So such mechanism actually called edge-based computing, or that one. That is also used in the metaverse. And the next technology which is used for blockchain, and the reason I told you, blockchain allows user to own digital as goods. That means if you want to do any serious things in the metaverse, there has to be a provision for making provision. That means people should pay, people should buy, people should spend money. And that mechanism actually is given by blockchain. Blockchain through its tokens creation gives value to those tokens, captures that value, and allows you to do transactions. So blockchain is also extensively used in the cloud, I mean in the metaverse. So now we will move on to the next one. Where are the places where actually metaverse can be used? Okay. So metaverse, although it is used extensively in gaming today, it has many business applications that I can list. It has application in education, it has application in government, and it also application in entertainment. And most people know through this one. That's the reason they say actually metaverse is all about gaming. It is not the case. So you can say many applications, for example, advanced blockchain users, for example, NFT is an advanced application. Virtual spaces you can use it for teaching, you can use it for a medical surgery, or it can use for a regular meeting. Okay, and virtual business and markets. That means, for example, 3D dimensional purchasing process. For example, today when you go to Amazon and all, you cannot touch the item and see that one. You can actually only you can not experience. But in a 3D marketplace, you can not only touch that, you can actually wear it and experience and then buy it. And this is some interesting point for the students. Metaverse also gives you a lot of avenues, career avenues. Today, much of your technological options in the IT industry is either a developer or a tester or a coder. Okay, that means either you develop an application. But here actually, you can actually develop what we call decentralized platform development. For example, in the internet today, there is a Unix platform, there is a Windows platform and all. But if you are interested in metaverse as a career, then decentralization is the principle, and you will be actually involved in the development of that platform. For example, you can develop a blockchain platform, a decentralized platform, and establish your own currency on that. Or you can establish your currency and invite people for activities. That is one career path. And next one is actually Metaverse Marketplace. That means that is a there actually you can sell. Today actually you are selling on a platform. So for example, you can develop your code and put on GitHub and somebody will actually appreciate and you can sell it. Okay. Or you can develop it on a code developer's website. But in the Metaverse, there's a different kind of a market, a 3D market. You can actually sell your products and creations. Okay. And non-fungible development and integration. What it means that if you have a great artistic capabilities, you can make a drawing, you can make an artistic work and convert into an NFT, that is a different technology, and you can sell it. Okay. Meta space marketing, 3D space development. Today we have this real estate development. That means they will buy a piece of land and they will build an apartment, then they will give you flats there. Similarly, in the metaverse, you can have a land, build a buildings, then sell those apartments or sell their flats. That is also a very creative activity. Then finally, you can also develop apps because this will involve 3D applications, then you can develop them also. Metaverse also has certain challenges. For example, identity challenges. That means since you are represented by your avatar, you are not really participating. Your avatar, then that can be used to certain misuses. For example, you have to identify a person by his voice, face, expression, and features. This can many times mislead. You may be thinking that you are talking to a person called EA, but he may be proxied by somebody else. Okay. And there are many occasions where actually somebody's reputation can be hurt by using metaverse technology. For example, we something called actually deep faking or deep facing, where actually we see many times today that you take a video, they will put a celebrity video, but talking is done by somebody else. So that kind of dangers are there. Okay. So now I open for a question answer session, sir. I have completed my main presentation. Now people can ask me questions.
Sir, I'm audible.
Yes.
Sir, one student is having a query. You can answer that, sir.
Okay.
Sir, can you explain more about virtual business, sir? Is it like
virtual business?
e-commerce?
Virtual commerce. Okay, I can tell you. See, number one, metaverse is a new world, which is a 3D space. Okay, so that means we have to create every equivalent that is happening today. Today, commerce means going to a shop and buying that, or going to Amazon and buying that one. Okay, see, in the metaverse, we have to create a commercial space, means we have to do three things. That is, one, you have to create a virtual space where actually you can bring people together. That means you should get a customer to your virtual space. This can happen through his avatar. That means he will take an avatar of a customer or a layman and he will enter there. Then from your side, you should put all your items there. For example, if you are a person selling, say, fabrics, dresses and all, then you should convert your products into a 3D items and offer him the sales. But now this interface comes through your VR headset. That means if you are using a VR headset, then the customer can come to your shop virtually and touch and feel your items and like that. So once he likes that, then the next thing is transaction. That means he has to buy that by paying the money. So for that we need financial instruments. So this is created by what we call blockchain. So blockchain will give you tokens. Okay, that means you can carry cash like Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a big one, but then every blockchain platform will create its own this one. In the world of metaverse, it is called crypto wallet. The way you actually go to today, a shopping mall, either carrying the cash of 100 rupees or 1000 rupees or your debit card. If you want to go to do something in virtual commerce, then you should go with your crypto wallet. Crypto wallet will have currencies which you can give it to the customer, to the shop owner, and buy the dress and come back. Okay, so this kind of a commerce which happens on the metaverse is called virtual commerce or virtual e-commerce. Anything you have missed?
Sir, one more question. Can you explain how does metaverse reduce the space gap?
Space gap, how does it remove?
Sir?
Like the question is how does virtual space is created and how does metaverse overcomes the gap?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, very simple. See, the very value proposition of metaverse is to overcome the gap. I told you earlier, actually, one of the value propositions of I will just come back. Okay, is to overcome the space gap. See, this is one constraint. For example, I'll tell you from the real world example. Today, I'm sitting in Dharwad, and you are actually sitting in your college in Bangalore. So that there's a space gap, right? Okay. Now, how does metaverse will overcome? It will use what is called extended reality technologies. That means we have augmented reality, virtual reality, and mixed reality. So by doing this, I will create a virtual space. What is a virtual space? It is a space created on the internet. Okay. Then what I do is actually I will invite you to join that space. So that means you will join that space through your avatar. That means you are coming to that space. Okay. So now suppose I create this particular session in the metaverse. What would happen is I will create a virtual space. I will invite all the students of VITs, and all the VIT students will participate and join that one. That process is called teleporting and joining that space through their avatars, and I will just join that session through my avatar and start. Since we are in the same virtual space, the space gap that we are facing now today is eliminated. So the answer to your question is, the first step is I will create a virtual space, then I will invite you to join there. How do you join? Using your avatars. Since I join, I will join using my avatar. Now that the physical space is gone behind, because we are all together in a virtual space. So since we are in the same virtual space, we can conduct all the physical activities that we do in the physical space. That means I can talk to you, I can make a presentation through my avatar, and you can participate in my presentation and ask me questions through my avatar, through your avatar. So the experience will be identical. I'll tell you an example. Suppose you are a doctor and there are devices called haptic devices which can sense. So if I bring my patient to a virtual space, I can touch his avatar and actually find out what is his body temperature. That kind of a haptic technology is already created. And one more example I will give you. Maybe you already know Mr. Elon Musk. So Elon Musk has a company is developing one technology called BCI. That means brain computer interface. That means today we connect to a machine through our keyboard or our mouse. But according to that particular technology, you can directly connect your head or your brain to the interface. That means you think of something, it will happen on the machine. Okay. So yeah, I will create a space, invite you, you come through your avatar, and thereby actually eliminate the physical space. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
Sir, I will try to share your mail IDs and your contact number. Interested students can send you a query and you can reply to them, sir.
Yeah, I will share my address also on the screen now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you,
See,
Mayur, sir.
on the screen you can see my links. Okay?
Yes, sir. I have taken a screenshot of this.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
I will share it with students, sir.
This is Professor Lakshmi, right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mayur, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Madam, can I get a 1 minute?
Yes, sir, you can.
Yeah. I'm just sharing my screen. Is my screen visible, madam? Am I visible?
Yes, sir.
I hope my screen is visible and you can see me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a augmented reality application. I hope you can see, students can see me wearing a blue color specs.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so in reality, I'm not wearing this. This is just an augmented reality. In reality, I don't wear specs. It is digitally placed on my photo, live photo. This is one example of AR. This is made using AR, Spark AR software, right? I'll quickly show one more. I know that you people are have some other important event to attend to now. So I'll just show one more example. So this is a Python code which puts filters on me. This again an AR application wherein you can see me two eyeballs, special eyeballs. And if I open my mouth, you can see I do spit smoke also, fire, right? So this is made possible with AR. It's a AR filter, and with the Python code, I'm able to implement this, right? So just wanted to take 1 minute and explain this technology. I think maybe we can have a special workshop on this and we can cover in detail, madam. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you everybody, Professor Lakshmi and all your students, your institution. Mayur Patil, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Lakshmi, Professor, thank you.
Sir, I think she told students have some quick event now at 12:15 wherein
Oh,
they
no
need to
problem.
fill a
No
form.
problem.
I think they already got disconnected, it seems, sir.
Oh, no,
Uh,
it's not an
uh,
issue. Not an issue.
and 12:45 the college gets closed, so within 30 minutes they have to fill the form. So they
Okay.
went hurriedly. So they gave me only 1 minute. So I gave
No
only
problem.
quick
Okay,
demo, sir.
sorry. No,
Okay.
actually, I
Thanks.
was trying to pull it because you wanted only 15 minutes. Okay. Anyway, thank you, Mayur.
Thank,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Okay.